Hello, this is Chad Smith, and welcome to a demo of GoldMine Premium Edition 8.0. In this demo, we'll be looking at the new features and benefits we'll get out of the newest edition of GoldMine from Front Range Solutions. So sit back and enjoy. If you're a user of the GoldMine alarms, one of the first things you'll notice when you launch GoldMine Premium Edition is the enhanced GoldMine alarm window. We can now see at the top of the alarm window how many alarms we have waiting for us. And at the bottom of the window, we can see the individual details of each one of those alarms. And by clicking on one of the alarms listed below, you'll notice that the middle part of the window changes to show the details for that activity. The other actions you can do within the alarm, such as turning an alarm off, or snoozing, or ignoring alarms, all remain the same. And of course, we can always click Suspend Alarms so they don't show up until we log out and log back into GoldMine. One of the most welcome changes to GoldMine Premium Edition are the enhancements to the contact window. First, you'll notice that we're no longer constrained by the 4 quadrants that were present in previous versions of GoldMine. Now, in the contact window, we can place any of the standard fields that ship with GoldMine or any user-defined fields. In addition to that, just above the contact information, we can see when the next activity was scheduled, when the last activity took place, and when the last note was added to this record. And above that, we can communicate with the contact via sending a letter, writing an email, or dialing a phone. We can also schedule a text action, appointment, event, to-do, etc. with the contact. We can add them to a contact distribution list or take a phone message. GoldMine Premium Edition also introduces us to an Enhanced Notes tab. Whereas in previous versions of GoldMine, the notes were laid out almost like a Microsoft Word document, in Premium Edition we see the notes are stored separately to make for easier reading. To add a note, we simply click the Add a Note button, type in our new note, and then after typing the note, simply click on the Save icon to save that new note. We also see a new tab in GoldMine, the Relationships tab. Its use is the same as the organizational chart in previous versions of GoldMine. It lets us link together people that work within the same company, and also to link together people that work in the same division. So we can see here in our example we have all of the sales managers listed below. Not only can we see the person's name and title, but we also see their phone number as well as email address. And by clicking on their email address here, it allows us to start an email right to that person. We can also do something called a roll-up in GoldMine Premium Edition. And what the roll-up lets us do is to combine all of the information, the tabs, among these people. So if I want to do a roll-up on sales managers, it's going to let me see information, pending, history, details, etc. of everybody within the sales managers group here. Now, if I would have clicked on the Global Corp as an entire organization and done a roll-up, it also would have showed all of the history, pending, etc. for all of Global Corp. So if we look over here on the History tab now, we're going to see not only the history of Aaron Jameson, who's the contact that I'm on, but it's going to show the history of everybody that's within that roll-up. To turn a roll-up off, I can either deactivate the roll-up here, or I can go back to my Relationships tab and click Deactivate Roll-up. Now, for those of you that would prefer to see the organizational chart on the left, we still have that option. I can right-click within this window, and I can uncheck Show Relationship Tree in the tab to move it over on the side. If you're watching really closely when we were doing the relationship roll-up with the History tab, you're going to notice that we now have a new column in the History tab called Contact. And this contact is going to display which contact the activity was with, and it functions not only when we're using the activity roll-up, but also if we have primary and secondary contacts on a record, it'll show which contact the activity was with. You'll also notice that on each of these we have a drop-down, and I can click on the drop-down and then choose one of the contacts and then see just the history for that contact. So after selecting Ken Cole here, you'll notice here are all of Ken Cole's activities. If we click on the X down here in the lower left, that will release the filter for us. And we can perform that same filter on any of the columns within this tab. Not only that, we can also click on a column, and that will resort all of the activity by that column. So now everything here is sorted by the user. I can also group my activities together. If I right-click on one of these columns and then choose Group, you'll notice that a new space opens up at the top where we can drag and drop any column. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Contact and then drag it up. All right. And after doing that, you'll see that if I scroll up, here is the activity for Ken Cole. If I click on the plus sign next to Doris, here's the activity for Doris. I also have the ability to do subgroups. So if I want to group these by contact and then by user, and click on user, drag it up, and now you'll notice that I've got Ken Cole and then the activities that Al has done with Ken Cole. This grouping works not only on the history but also the pending and details as well as opportunities tab. We also have some additional flexibility on where tabs are in GoldMine. So this marketing tab here is a custom tab I created from a Fields view, and I have this in one of the first spots in my tab row. In previous versions of GoldMine, I would have to go after all of the standard tabs, and I can also drag and drop tabs to place them wherever I'd like on the screen. We can also click on this button here to choose which tabs to see and which tabs to hide. You probably also noticed over on the left this navigation pane. The navigation pane in GoldMine now lets us choose which module to view. So by default I'm going to be in my contacts module. If I click on the calendar here, it's going to open up the calendar module for me. Click on activities, it's going to open up the activity list for me, etc. What's shown up here in the top of the navigation pane depends on where you are. If I'm in my calendar, it's going to show me the month views, and if I'm in my activity list, it's going to show me the different options for which activities to view. We can also see at the bottom of the navigation pane I can access the campaign module, service module, and leads, as well as knowledge base. It also gives us the ability here to configure which navigation pane options I want to see. You'll also notice in that previous demo is when I open up a new module in GoldMine, it no longer opens in a separate window, and instead we have a nice tabbed interface at the top. So when I open up the calendar, I create a calendar tab. When I open up the activity list, I create an activity list tab. When I open up the opportunity manager, an opportunity manager tab opens. To choose between these, I simply click on them, and if I want to close one down, I simply click on the X here. GoldMine still gives you the flexibility to operate in the classic style of GoldMine with the separate windows. However, most people I find prefer this new tabbed interface, and if I want to go back to the tabbed interface from the standard classic interface, I just double click on one of the window menu bars.